This is the Tallahassee Business Podcast, brought to you by the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce. Before we begin, we'd like to say thank you to our sponsor, Event Owl, who's helping clients across the nation elevate virtual, hybrid, and live events. Learn more on the web at eventowl.com. Thanks for joining us and enjoy this episode of the Tallahassee Business Podcast.
Well, hello, everybody. It's nice to be with you again. My name is Sue Dick, president of the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, and so excited today to have Sha'Ron James with us for our podcast. And Sha'Ron wears many hats with regards to the Chamber of Commerce and some community involvement. So we're delighted, Sha'Ron, to have you with us. Thanks for being with us.
I'm so glad to be here, Sue. Thanks for having me.
Well, as I said, you are very, very much involved in the community, also in your professional life. Maybe if you can let our listeners know a little bit about how you made it to Tallahassee and a little bit of your background.
Yes. So my story in terms of how I made it to Tallahassee, I think is very similar to quite a few folks in the community. I came to Tallahassee now many years ago as a student at Florida A&M University. I left Tallahassee to receive a graduate degree and a law degree, but Tallahassee always remained a part of me. And so after law school, I came back to Tallahassee and decided to make Tallahassee my home. So I've been here decades now, and I'm really invested in the community and love Tallahassee.
Well, we're glad you're here. Thank you for serving on the Chamber Board of Directors. You were previously chair of Leadership Tallahassee Board of Governors. And this week's marks a new opportunity for you in your professional life. I want to make sure we get a chance to update everyone on what your recent move has included.
Yes, so this week marks a new beginning for me. I started this week as a part of the government affairs team at Gunster, which for me is an excellent opportunity to continue my work as an advocate. And so I will join that team as a legislative advocate, a lobbyist, governmental affairs professional, working on behalf of clients before the legislature as well as the executive branch. So,
this is it's about to get very busy for you with legislative session right around the corner. So thank you for carving out some time not only to talk with us, but also for your work in one of our 3 strategic priority areas, which is community and prosperity. And I know we're very fortunate to have you and your talents and your committee members, and want to maybe bring our listeners up to speed as to why this priority is so important, some of the things that you're working on with your committee members.
This is a very important priority for the Chamber, and I'm very honored to be a part of introducing the Community and Prosperity Committee to our Chamber community. This is an initiative that the Chamber has been working on for quite some time. And it really is an opportunity for us as Chamber members to take the lead on issues that are important to our community, issues related to prosperity, livability, and safety, and to carve out our place and our role in developing solutions that improve the community in which we live.
And I think, for the Chamber of Commerce, our overall mission is to lead and promote the success of business, driving a higher quality of life for our entire community. No surprise that this priority area starts with that word community. And we all know how important the business sector and our local businesses are to our community because we all love our community and we know how important it is. Some of the action items, I've been so impressed with the work of the committee. Maybe if you can outline some of the action items and really some of the areas that you are tasking your committee members to really dig into and move forward.
Yes, so our committee is charged with a few key action items. One is to launch Prosperity Leon, which is an initiative that really flows out of the work of the Florida Chamber Foundation in encouraging chambers to take an important role in prosperity initiatives across its community. We're in the early stages of the Prosperity Leon initiative in that we are meeting with stakeholders to really listen and learn and have a better understanding of some of the work that's currently taking place in Leon County as it relates to our community and the prosperity of our entire community. We've met with stakeholders like the United Way, with United Partners for Human Services, and have a really robust list of other stakeholders that we'll be meeting with and working with over the next several months to put some teeth to the Prosperity Leon initiative. And so I look forward to sharing more about that in the weeks and months to come. Another important action item relates to identifying diversity, equity, and inclusion opportunities for the Chamber. We all know that this is something that is critically important to us as a community, as a Chamber, and for our Chamber members. And so the Chamber is involved and will be involved in identifying diversity, equity, and inclusion opportunities for us to become involved in. We're also focused as a committee in developing ways to grow a more diverse membership. We will be working over the next year to be more innovative, creative, and welcoming to an array of members. And so our committee will be working very closely to develop solutions to improve in that area, as well as to enhance our partnerships with other chambers like the Big Bend Minority Chamber and the Capital City Chamber. So we have 4 distinct and very important action items that we are digging into. And we have a great committee, which is made up of community members as well as Chamber Board members. And we look forward to the work that we have ahead.
Sha'Ron, it was exciting to participate in your first committee meeting last week. And as you said, you're really starting to build this out with Dana Knowles on our team being our staff point person on this. For you, very strategic in what has been laid out, but what is your hope and what do you think the opportunities, not just for obviously the Chamber of Commerce, for our community as a whole, as we move down this road? You've been so in your leadership role with Leadership Tallahassee, you really have been so community minded. What would you hope for as we look back a year from now or 2 years from now, some of the things that we've seen a change in or a difference for our community?
That's a great question, Sue. I think that I would sum it up by saying I look forward to us working more collaboratively. I think that if we become intentional about collaborating with the myriad of stakeholders that are all focused on improving our community, that we will help build a better community. And so all of the action items that we're working on point to that. And I believe based upon our involvement and the work of the Community and Prosperity Committee, that we'll be able to look back and see that collaboration is key, and collaboration is and has been a successful element in moving our community forward.
Well, Sha'Ron, you participated in our strategic plan refresh led by Jay Smith, who's now our chairman of our board. We walked away with really 3 priority areas. Obviously, one was community prosperity, but also talent, workforce, and education, and economic competitiveness and business climate. Maybe from your perspective, just what you've experienced and what you've seen, where do you think the opportunities might be as we look at all 3 of those priority areas, and maybe the importance of each, and maybe of those as a focus area for the Chamber of Commerce? As a business leader, what would be your hope as well that we continue to push as it relates to really these 3 areas and how they all would work together?
One of the things that was very apparent in the strategic planning process was that all of the areas align and they work very closely together. So an example is in talent, workforce, and education. We as a chamber plan to look very closely at school readiness, 3rd grade reading scores, and preparing a workforce that meets the needs and challenges of the future. And one of the ways to do that is by turning inward to the community. And so again, great alignment between community and prosperity and talent and workforce. Similar thing as it relates to economic competitiveness and business climate. We a part of our role is to create a business climate that is welcoming to new businesses and bringing industry to Tallahassee. And so, again, the alignment comes when we focus on creating a community that is livable and that's safe. And so when we look at issues related to job growth and bringing new industry, we want to be sure that we're a part of a community that is one that's livable and safe and welcoming. And so, again, great alignment there.
Yeah. Sha'Ron, you have been very involved, and as I said, you're wearing your chamber hat today, but you have many other hats that you wear, especially in your professional life and your family life here in our community. As a resident, as a professional who is here with your family, what would be your ask maybe for our listeners with regards to whether it's your priority area of community prosperity or just in general, that you would like to at least communicate to those that are listening that might not be too familiar with the work of the chamber in this area, but also with you in your role within the community?
That's a great question. I think one of the things is just an understanding that we are more alike than we are different. And when I think back and I, think about my involvement in the community professionally, my role as a parent. My daughter is an 8th grader in Leon County Public Schools. It really brings me back to just that one important fact that we're more alike than we are different. And I would just encourage folks to get involved and really see that our community is a community that's loved by all, and we're really all just alike.
Yeah, well, that's great. I think that's a great way to try and start every day. I know we're all still working in this COVID space, so this is very different. Especially for you, I can't even imagine a legislative session during COVID. I know you're down the street and you're in your office space now, but how are you even mapping out trying to get ready for legislative session? The fact that you can't meet in person, and thankfully your skill set is so strong that you'll be a rock star in that space. But I'm just curious, how do you plan for that?
It's a challenge. It boils down to making sure that you have built strong relationships already. And so the hope is that those relationships that have been built over time, those trusting relationships, pay off in such a challenging time as this. I'm very hopeful that we'll have a great session this year, but I also look forward to hopefully next year's session where things are a little bit back to normal.
Well, I'll make sure we'll check back with you next year's when you're having to run and gun up and down the halls and see which way you prefer. But Sha'Ron, thanks so much. Again, we're very fortunate to have you highly engaged in the Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for your time and for all the work that you and your committee will be doing in community prosperity. Have a great rest of the week, and thank you so much for all that you do.
Well, thank you, Sue. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you to the Chamber for taking up such an important issue, and I look forward to the work.
Thank you, Sha'Ron. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye-bye.